Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night from when you're watching this video. This is John from IT Skills Academy with yet another video. Today, I present to you yet another pharmacy management system. I'll take you through how I created this simple pharmacy management system using PHP and MySQLI. To make it simple, I'll break it into several episodes as follows. In the first episode, I'll basically be introducing you to the system and also show you the basic dashboard that we'll be using for the system. In the second episode, we are going to set up the database. Then in the third episode, we'll be creating the dashboard now. And in the fourth episode, we'll be adding the patients. Fifth, we'll be adding or managing the patients rather. In the sixth episode, we'll be adding and managing suppliers. And then in the sixth and in the seventh episode, we'll be dealing with drugs, that is entering or adding the drugs into the system, and also managing the drugs in terms of editing, in terms of deleting the drugs. We'll also be dealing with the expired drugs in the 8th episode, and in the last but not the least episode number 9, we'll be dealing with the billing system, that is where we'll be managing the transactions and what have you. So hope this is interesting, and without so much ado, let's just get started. Well, in today's episode, we'll be working on the patient profile. I'm calling the patient profile because this is where we are going to have the specific patient information. And as you can see from your screen, the HTML and the CSS part of it is already completed. So that means the only thing that we are required to add for this specific in this specific episode is the PHP. If you require this template, I'll be having the link to download it in the description of this specific video if you just want this specific page and maybe not the whole admin dashboard. So to proceed on, as you can see here, we'll be having the name of the specific patient. Here we'll be able to see the lab results for the patient. We have also an option to prescribe drugs to this specific patient and also discharge the patient. Now down here we are having the basic information of this specific patient. This includes their names, their date of birth, the mobile number, their email, and of course the location. Here we have the vital information, which includes the allergies and any other condition that the patient could be having. And of course now we have the drug history, which just shows you the drugs that have been prescribed to the patient over the years. And this of course will be helping the doctor to be able to understand which drugs or medicine the patient has taken so far. So as you can see, this episode will be quite small because we'll just be adding the PHP just to make the whole of this page dynamic. And for you to be able to get to this page, of course you'll be coming from the dashboard, which is this area here. So we'll be having the list of the patient, and so now for you to be able to view a specific patient, all you need to do is to click on view, and that will just be taking you to the specific patient profile. So without so much ado, let's just dive into the code and just add the PHP and make the whole profile dynamic. So as you can see here, I'm on Visual Studio Code, and this is the specific container. If I may just put things in order a little bit. So this is the specific container that is holding the name of the patient. So this part here, this whole part here is where we are having this container, or it is being held by that container over there, and all the other information now will follow like that. So when it comes to the lab results, so that is this specific area here, and then of course now moving down to the other part. So this is the prescribe part, as you can see over here, the prescribe, and so of course now after that we'll be having the discharge. So you can see all that information is appearing in unordered list. As you can see, we have closed the unordered list there. So the whole of this now is the area, all is like what I can call the simple navigation bar that we are having over there. Oh, just a minute. So that one should be starting from here, but you can see I have defined that specific nav has been. Okay, so this is the navigation. So it starts from here, and of course that's what we are seeing now, adding up to that point where we have the discharge, and of course now we have the basic information. Then that again appears in unordered list, and then we also have the vitals. Of course now that one again appears in another list, and so on and so forth. So we're just going to add the PHP just to make that whole thing dynamic. So the first thing that we're going to do is to be able to get the ID of a specific patient. So to be able to get the ID of a specific patient, we're going to just come to the very top part of the page. It's not a must you come here, but I just find it easy just having it on top here. And so I'm just going to have the PHP. So let me just have a comment here, just indicating that this is where we want to have or to get the ID. So get the patient ID. So like so. And so here we're just going to have the PHP, and because we have HTML below it, we have to close the PHP. And now inside here, the first thing that we're going to do is to require the connection to the database, because we'll be requiring to fetch information from the database, and so it's important that we do have the connection to the database. So my script to connect to the database is in the includes, so I'm going to have the includes folder there, and the file itself is called core.php. So now down below there we're going to have now the if statement, so which will be if, and the condition will be we want to get. So because we'll be passing the information via the URL, so we're going to use the get method. So get, and what we want to get is the specific ID. So here we are going to have in single quotes the ID. I would like it to have it in small letters, and here now the code, you're just going to create a variable called ID. You can call it patient ID, you can call it whatever you may want to, and then just to make things easier, what I do is that I just come and grab that, and then I just come and say that's what I want to appear in this area here. So basically we are saying that the ID that we are going to get from this method, we want to store it in this variable that we are calling ID. And so now that way, in any other point below that where we are going to call for this, we are going to get a specific ID. But how are you going to get the ID? Remember, when we go back to the dashboard, we're going to get the ID from here, because this is the information that is coming from the database, which also includes the ID. So when I be clicking on this view, I need to see, as you can see below here, we have the ID is equals to 2, ID is equals to 3, because we have written a script that will help us to be able to like grab the ID and pass it via the URL. And how is that possible? Let me just head on back to the dashboard here real quick, just to show you that. So dashboard, it's over here, and then I can just latch to the patient. Just a second as I try to get to that part of the dashboard. yeah, it's over here, the patient. And if I just go to the view, which is this view here, you can see we are having an anchor tag. We have the anchor tag here, and then we are having the path being profile.php. That is this specific page. If I may just take you there, the profile.php. And then on top of that, we are saying that we want to store the ID. So we are saying that ID is equals to, and then we are echoing the ID. So remember, we have already fetched the ID from the patients. So we have already fetched the ID from the patients. We have stored it in this specific variable, and that's what we are echoing in this specific area here for each and every for each and every patient. So that's why when I view, or when I click on the view here, I'm able to be taken to this page here, and now when we add the PHP, we'll be able to get the information of the specific patient based on the ID. Alright, so having said that, therefore we can just close the dashboard and just head on back, or focus on the profile. And here the first thing that we need to do, let me just get to that specific area there. The first thing that we need to do is to get the patient name. This patient name, so that is like this one here. And so basically what we're just going to do is we're just going to come below this specific container, and we're going to have the PHP, then we have of course to close it, close it that way. And then below here we're going to of course create a variable, as usual, call it SQL. So this is the one that is going to have the select statement. So we're going to say select, and we want to like get all, and we're getting this from the patient table, and we're not just getting everything, but we want to get that information where the ID is equals to the ID. So in this case, now we are calling the ID that we have on top there. Okay, so now after that, what we're going to do is we're going to create a query that fetch data from the database, and to be able to do that, we're going to create yet another variable. We're going to call it results, but in short form, and we're going to have this being set to equal to MySQLI underscore query. So basically the query is going to take two arguments. The first one, as we have already discussed, is the call, and then the other one should be SQL. So of course we should have that closed with a semicolon, and then after that we want to check if there are any records in the database. So maybe I can have a comment here and say check if there are any records in the database. Okay, so so to be able to do that, we are going to have an if statement. So this if statement is going to take the following conditions. So the first condition, we're going to check whether the result is equals to true. So did it return true, to mean that we have information in the database. So the code if that is equal to true will be to count. So we're going to create a variable, we call it count, and so this one will be counting the number of rows that we have in that specific table. So we're going to say MySQLi underscore num underscore rows, and so this one is going to take one argument, which is results. So for the purpose of connecting to the database and fetching the information. And then after that, now we are now going to say if we have any single line in the table, then it means we have some records, and so we should be able to fetch the records. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another if statement, which condition will be checking whether the count is greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, therefore we can be able to fetch the information. So the code for if that is greater than 0 will be the while loop. So we're going to create a while loop so that it goes through the whole table and fetches all the information that we are going to have there. So I'm going to have the while, and so in this case this will be a lows, and we're going to set this to be equal to MySQLi fetch, because this is the statement that is going to fetch, there's a function that's going to fetch the information from the database. So I'm going to call it fetch underscore sock, and so it should take one argument, which is again results. So after that, now we have the information already being fetched, that is if the information is greater than 0. Of course, if it is less than 0, here you can just come and have any message that you may want to return to the user, just to tell them maybe we didn't get any information, or wait for some time for information to be updated, or whatever information you may want. That is, if the count will be less than 0, to mean there's no information. Alright, so for the code here, we're just going to store the information that we need. So in that case, remember we have the information stored in this specific the information is stored in this specific variable. So I'm going to come and have it here, rows, and I'm going to say ID. So I'm saying now, from all the information that we have stored in this variable called rows, I only want the ID. And that ID, because I cannot use it like this, I'm going to store it in a variable way or form which is usable to me. So after that, I'm going to also talk about name, which is the other thing that I want. And so this will be rows, and we're going to have that as a name, and also don't forget to close that. And of course, now here we are just going to echo. We're just going to echo that. So echo and name. So by just doing that, now we should be able to get the specific name of the specific patient. For example, if it is this patient here, if I click on view, we have an error somewhere on line 195. They're saying MySQL rows argument results must be of type MySQLi results. Okay, let's see. Let's try to fix that. 195. Oh, sorry. in this case we have equals instead of equal to, because now in this case we are like storing this information in this variable. When you have a single equals, which means we are assigning this to this, but that is not what we want. We want to check if this variable returned true. So for that we're going to have a double equals instead. So let's see if that fixes our issue. We refresh that and we click on view, and that should be fixed. As you can see, now we have the name James, and if I click on another one like here, then we should be able to see that. So that's what we just need for that specific part. And so now the rest, we're just going to just almost repeat the same thing, but now target different information, all tables rather. So I'm just going to head to the patient information, that is the patient basic information. So let me just come here and search for basic. Alright, so so we want now to be able to have all this information being dynamic or coming from the database. So again, we're just going to have some PHP here, and because I want you to just understand this or to write PHP or to code in PHP, or basically to understand how you can be able to fetch the information from the database, I'm going to repeat this code again, but this time loud, a little bit faster than I have done before. So just a minute, I try to get that right. So the first thing is, of course, having the variable SQL and having these take information from the patient's table. So we will say select, and here we are selecting all again from the table patients, and again we only want to get the patient's information based on a specific ID. So we have to have that. And then the next thing, as usual, is to create a query that fetches data. So this takes two variables, that is con. That's why we had to require it on top there. So just making sure that we don't have a single equals for that. And so in this case we are just counting. Count is equals to MySQLI underscore num underscore loss. So here the count should be variable count, which should be greater than 0. So down here we're just creating a while loop. So this one should be loss. So here we're just having the MySQLi fetch. MySQLi fetch a sock. This one is taking the variable less as the argument, and that's it. So we're just now required to store the data in the variable. So starting with the ID, and so in this case you can even just come and grab this, for example, just to make sure that you don't make a mistake, because for example if you just have low instead of lows, or you have it as a low and then you type lows, then it's not going to work for you. So you should be very careful with that. And then just to make the work easier, I'm just going to duplicate this based on the information that I want. So let me just have it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so I'm just going to edit this. So here we should have the name, and this one should be, or can be, date of service, so DOB, or rather date of birth, DOB. Then here we're going to have the phone number. So let me just have this information a bit quick, because we can help us save some time. Okay, so that should be enough for that. So all now that we're left to do is to echo that specific information. So in this unordered list, we're having all the information that we need. So the first thing is the name. So here we're just going to echo the name. So PHP echo variable name. Remember, we have already stored that specific name there, and so now the next thing will be the date of birth. So to make things easy, I'll just grab this PHP here, copy it and paste it here, and then I can just change it to date of birth. Again, for the phone number, just change it to phone. For the email, again we'll repeat the same thing. So that should be working fine now. Let's test it and see. So we just get back to the dashboard, then we just select a specific patient, and as you can see now we're having the information there, only that we need to change this. So we're having the name, the date of birth, the mobile number, and all that. Let's just fix the one for location. I think I did not change it to location. This one should be location, and that should be working fine. If I refresh that, we have the location, and this is now for this specific patient. If I go back and pick a different patient, like this patient here, we should be seeing that information. Let me see. John Doe. Yeah, so we have that patient there, and of course now the basic information for there, as you can see, and all that. So later we'll be having a button here that will be helping us to edit this information. It can also be edited from this other end. As you can see here, we have the edit button, which is not working for now, but it's meant to help you to edit the patient information just in case there's any inconsistency with the information. So now we're going to repeat the same thing now with vital information and also with the drug history. So let's start with the vital. Yeah, and in fact what we can as well do is to just echo the information, because I've just realized that we can have all that information being stored here, and then we can just be echoing the information just like we have done with the basic information. So I may need to have the vitals information stored here. So like we can have the condition. So that should be conditions, and let me just copy that and have it here. And then we can also have the allergic, so have that information stored in that variable. And then the last one is for other conditions. So in fact I can just duplicate this one. So this one I have it as all conditions, which means other conditions. Alright, so having that there, we can now come and try to echo that information. For example, here we have the cold, which is representing some sort of allergic. Maybe the person is allergic to that. So we can come and echo PHP echo, and we'll echo allergic. Okay, so that is all that we need there. We can now be able to get that status, and then we're also going to grab these and have it for if the patient has any condition. So conditions is what we're going to echo there. Yeah, and that's about it. So let's see if we refresh that. Yeah, we see the person has no allergies, and the hypertension. Sorry, we're having a typo with the name or conditions. So let's fix that. I think it's because we don't have it. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, for it is all condition and not conditions. It's because that's how it is appearing in the database. Of course, you can be able to just go and change it from the database that is in that specific table, you can just change that column to whatever name that you want. That way, yeah, it will be consistent and you're not going to have that issue. So you can see this person is having no allergies, but they have a condition of being they have hypertension, so they're hypertensive. So the information is appearing as we would expect, and so the last thing that we need is the drug history to be able to understand the drugs that the patient has taken so far. And so for that, we are going to create a select statement for it. So, and just to make things easy for now, I'm just going to grab this. Just a minute, try to grab this one here. So now we can come and have it down here like so, and so this one now should help me to be able to get the information. And so we are creating a separate select statement, because this time around we want to get this information from the sales. We want like to take advantage of the drugs that we have sold to this patient to be able to understand the drug history of the patient. Yeah, so I can have the name and first to name. Although sometimes maybe in future we may also need to have it separately, because the patient could be advised to buy the drugs or medicine from somewhere else. Yeah, but this is just to give you an idea of how this can work. But maybe in future it requires a separate table that includes all the drugs that have been prescribed to the patient. That way it will be inclusive, to be a comprehensive one. So we'll be getting rid of this because we need separate or different information. So just get rid of this, and this, instead of just being ID, we're going to have the drug, and we're also going to duplicate it one more time, and we're going to have it as date of service. So that is a DOS. Okay, so that way now it means it's possible for us to be able to come here and echo the drug. So again, PHP echo, and we echo the variable drug. Hope it is a drug and not drugs. Drug. Then finally we also have the date issued, like when did the patient receive that drug, or when was it prescribed to them. So PHP echo, and we're going to echo the date of service, like that date when the patient was in the facility. So if we refresh that, therefore now we should be able to see that, and we have an error, select all on line 366. They are saying that there's an error with SQL syntax. Could be it's because we have not closed the previous PHP tag. So just a second as I try to see. Yeah, we need to come and close these. We also need to come and close these and these as well. So that should be 3 curly brackets. So we have it here. So what I usually do is to open another PHP and close it like that. And now inside here we can now come and close the first curly bracket, the second one, and also the third one. Wait a minute, we have an issue. Oh, sorry, I understand why that is the case. This one, these 3 curly brackets are the ones that we should be having down there instead. Yeah, like that. So let me just get rid of this white space. Yeah, so it should be like that. So I should also do the same. So let me just grab this. So this one should also come down here. And the vitals should have it somewhere here. We should close it there. And so in that case we should come and get rid of this, because these are the ones that are closing these curly bracket, this curly bracket, and also this, but we don't need to close it there. We need to just close it below the HTML, just below here. Yeah, so like we have done there. So the same should be done with the drag history. So for this, maybe we can have it there. And so we should as well get rid of this. And so I'm hoping that that should be fixing the issue that we were having. So let me refresh, and not yet fixed. Let me see, that is still online, 370. Oh yes, I get to see the issue. It's because this one is some sort of a string, I'm guessing so. And so in that case it should be in single quote instead of just being without the single quotes. And so I think that's what is causing the whole issue. So if I refresh that, we still have one more issue. We're saying that we don't have the table called cell. Yeah, because I remember the name should be sales and not just cell. So it doesn't like find any table called cell, and so that's why we are having the issue. So having fixed that and refreshed, now you should be able to see the drag and the date issued. So if I go back to the dashboard and pick a different patient, then we should see a different drag, a different date of issue, if they have any vitals, and their basic information. So now what we'll be doing in the next episode is now to prescribe the drugs to the specific patient, because that's the purpose, and this is the one that will now be taking us to the bill part of this whole system, to be able to manage the drugs that we have prescribed or sold to patients. So in the next episode it will be all about prescribing medicine or drugs to the patient.